Right, guys, it's going to be a bit cooler today in Bulgaria. It's going to be about 28, which is cold in comparison with the August temperatures up to now. It's been it's been a hot one, but I think we're on the brink of like the weather breaking, and I think once it breaks here, that's it. That's we're gonna see a few lower temps, but not too much because September can be warm. Now warm's okay, but hot is not okay. So we've been watching the Starmer armour unfolding, the man from Milk Tray unfolding every day, and every day the violence seems to get worse on the streets, or it's becoming more highlighted now. They weren't reporting on a lot of it for a long time, but now it seems to be getting reported. And I don't think Mr. Starmer, and it's not his fault, all of it. He's just one of the pawns in the game. You know, he didn't create it, but I'd like to say all the political correct people in the population and the and in politics and everything, you created it. You created all this, and you were warned. You were warned every step of the way by the far right people. Every step of the way, you were warned, and now it's you've got what you've got, and the political correct people, they're probably still out of the way. It doesn't affect everyone in the UK, but the political correct people, in my experience, don't go anywhere near these places where they're going to get attacked. Um, that's my experience of those type of people, and they certainly won't go and live and integrate with all the people that they've um, you know invited in. And so congratulations, and it's all your fault. Even everything what's happened, little kids getting attacked, um, old people, young people. It's all your fault. So I hope, and I can prove that because it doesn't happen in places like Hungary and most of Eastern Europe. It doesn't happen on the scale that it does. Obviously, there's violence everywhere and there's crime everywhere in the world, almost, but not on the scale that we're seeing, and not on kind of the kind of recipe that we have for the. And it looks like it could be getting worse. I mean, Starmer now is saying it's going to get worse before it gets better. Now, I would say my slogan would be it's going to get worse before it gets even worse, because it's not going to get better. How can it get better when there's nothing's been reversed? Nothing. You've still got the boats, although they're not responsible for everything. Seems to be a lot of second generation people, and and you wonder why that is. Uh, well, it's kind of easy for people like me to see that, because they're like they're being brought up in separate communities. Well, they call them communities. They used to call them ghettos, but now they call them communities. But that's what's happened, and you were warned about that as well, all the way through, step by step, year by year. You were warned, and it's all the political correct people, the population, I'd say about 60%, maybe 70% of the UK population have aided and abetted people like Starmer. So take responsibility for what you've been shouting about for all those years, and we have the proof here that like it doesn't. These things don't happen if you're a bit more sensible about borders and even everyday ethics, you know, amongst the population without any immigration, it's I can go to shops here and I'm fairly confident that I'll get to the shops and get back in one piece anywhere in the country, anywhere. I've been all over for every corner of this place. There are like little sketchy places, where you like, but it's never threatening. I don't think so, anyway. I don't think so. Um, you can go to 95, 96% of places in Bulgaria, and from what I've seen, all the other Balkan countries, Serbia, they're all pretty safe, There is violence, and there are like rival gangs and stuff. That happens everywhere in the world, everywhere. You're never going to get away from that. But what you want to be looking at is they're mainly attacking each other. By the way, in these places, it's turf wars kind of thing, that kind of stuff, and so and they will lean on people who kind of try and step on the toes. If you try and open rival businesses and that. But that happens everywhere. They'll kind of lean on people. So that's my view of and Starmer is he's just it's one thing after another with Starmer, and I don't see any future for this guy because he doesn't know the game. Obviously he hasn't read it properly. He's one of these people like Sunak who don't read it, and they're right in the middle of it, and they've both become prime ministers by pretty much default, and they still don't read it. They still don't know how it works because they're in the cotton wool. They're in what they call the echo chambers. People around them are just yes people, and they haven't ever connected with the real world. They're in a different world. They're in a different world. So you can't blame them because the population is allowing all this to happen, and the population has had 2, 3, 4 opportunities now. The only way to get out of it is vote. It seems, and they keep thinking they're voting the way out of it by changing the same person, and that's why I've never voted ever, because they're all you can. Some people can see through it all, and some people can't. Maybe some people can't see through Starmer or Sunak. They just see them as the prime minister, and you do what they say. And the one guy that did in recent times, he did at least understand the game, was Boris, the clown, and that's what he came in as, Boris the clown, and he didn't give two hoots. He didn't give two hoots about anything. He just knew that he could talk in a posh voice, guffaw, 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 and he'd say whatever came into his head first, And after that, he was quite good then at playing the fool, and sort of saying, and being actually he was quite good in public. When he was in contact with the public, when he went visiting places in all his outfits, he had 101 high vis and you name it. He wore every outfit like the clown. He was like the clown. The only thing he didn't have is the car and the bucket of paper. That's the only thing he didn't have. He had everything else. I remember the one where he was on the. He got stuck on the on the what's his name, the wire, the high wire. He was coming down, and he got stuck, and that was Boris, But these guys, this Starmer, he's come in and he thinks like I'm in charge now, and this is how it's going to be, and I'm going to tell all you people who don't know any better what it's going to be, what it's all going to be like, and I'm going to lock everyone up, and I'm going to ignore everything else about what's happening, all the violence everywhere on the streets that people are concerned about, and then people are going to be digging up all these statements he's been making over the last few years about what he was going to do, and now he's going to do the opposite. And he's already in 2 months. He's destroyed the private landlord kind of scene. They're all trying to get out now. I think a lot of them will bail out actually, and he's also he's got all this sleaze now about this alley fella who can walk in and out of Downing Street or whatever it is that he got a free pass to. I think it was number 10. I mean, number 10. Who gives a hoot about number 10? Only them. But so these people are getting like what's it? And he bought him some clothes. He might have bought the milk tray suit, the all black milk tray outfit, and he had training shoes on one time with that, sneakers, and he bought him spectacles as well. I wish he'd come and buy me some, because I'm on my third pair in 2 weeks now. These are reserve ones, and I went to the One Leved shop, and they haven't got any. These are just reading glasses, close up glasses, but and I was doing some land clearance, and I was with the chainsaw, and these branches are coming down everywhere, and they've took me glasses off the top of my head, and I can't find them. Buried in the garden. And the other ones, the blue rimmed ones, what I used to wear, they fell apart. So I'm trying to get some more, but they didn't have any in the last time. They only had some that like Dame Edna Everidge used to wear. so I didn't buy them. So this is the last ones now, and these keep falling off as well. So I've got to get some more from somewhere soon. They're quite cheap here. They get the Chinese ones, reading glasses. So I wish someone would come and buy me some, like they bought Keir Starmer some glasses. Imagine that, having someone to buy your spectacles when you becoming Prime Minister. I mean, these people have no shame. They've got, and it just shows, and it's like, and also it's not a secret. You would keep that secret, but like people know everything nowadays. They really do. These people are really in the spotlight, and this is what destroys some of them, because they can't handle it. And I think Starmer is one of them. It really does get to him. All this exposing him and all that, and playing back things like, we will freeze the energy bills, and then they played the latest speech, energy bills have got to go up again, and but it's going to get worse. Then it'll get better. How's it going to get better? He's got to have a manifesto to make it get better, hasn't he? And So there's him and all the rest and all the population. And you see them, they're all still there now. Such and such off our streets and all this. While everyone's getting attacked left, right, and centre. But it's like this imaginary massive right wing movement, like people who don't, basically anyone who doesn't, who's not manic politically correct, and has a hint of national pride still. Although that's impossible to have now in the UK. That's finished. I'm afraid to inform everyone who still thinks it's a thing, but it's not. Only for you are in the minority, and a small minority as well. You know, you might think they used to call it the silent majority, but it's not, because they would have been out by now. It's not. There's the politically correct people who are more than half the population, I would say. Then there's the other people who will never say anything. They're the silent middle people, and they'll never say anything. They'll just go along, get along, whatever happens. Even if their own people are getting attacked, the kids and which they are, and they'll still go along with it, you know. And we saw that in the lockdowns. It was like, lock me down harder, Daddy. Lock us down harder. You weren't quick enough or long enough. And these people, that's the population. A lot of people loved it because they were on full pay. Like teachers, they didn't even want to go back. They didn't even want to go back to work. They wanted to sit in the pyjamas forever. On lockdown, having these barbecues in the back garden, endless barbecues. But full pay. A lot of civil servants were all on full pay. No furlough there. They were all on full whack all the way through. That's why it was so successful. In the UK, because there's a lot of freeloaders there. And even the furlough, I mean, that was 80%. I mean, that was a good deal. And I think that went on for 2 years. On and on. I think it was. I got furlough for ages, but I was self-employed and I only got 20%, something like that, of my earnings, what I normally earned. It was a pittance. And I felt like betrayed, actually, by my country, because I'm fully paid up. I've got 35 years into the NI and national insurance, and I've never used the hospitals or anything, never abused anything. And I got like 20%, something like that, after all that service to my great country. So yeah. So that's my opinion about the UK. You've done it to yourselves, and they'll keep saying that. And I've got the proof. I've got the proof that it doesn't happen elsewhere. Because it doesn't. All the mistakes that you made, and they're still trying to like force people into these places. And they just say to them, this Peter something, the foreign minister for Hungary, he's about the best at explaining it, actually. He I forget his second name because it's one of these long names. Anyway, he explains it, and a couple of there's a Polish MEP, and he just doesn't hold back. He's like straight for the jugular. He says, we're watching you. We're watching what's happening in Paris and London. He said, we don't want that. That's simple as that. We don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want the problems what you've got, and we know what problems you've got. And there's no good hiding. Hide it from yourselves. Do what you want. Knock yourselves out. And tell each other it's great. That's what they do. That's what they've been doing in the UK for years, telling each other it's fantastic. All the everything's getting enriched, which it can do. It can happen, but you look at places like which are great mixed places like. I'm looking closely now at Mauritius, and that's just a melting pot of all different people. And it works, because of the reasons why, how it was put together, how it happened over the centuries, And so there you go. So I'm not against all that enrichment, but it's the way you do it, and it's also the way you treat people. This two-tier stuff's real. It's absolutely real in the UK. Absolutely. Like in my latter years in the UK, I felt alienated in my own country because of the views I had, and I didn't say much there. Because I could keep out the way, and that's what I did. I just lived on caravan sites and skedaddled off to Bulgaria at every opportunity, and just went there I called it smash and grab. I used to go and do a 6-month contract or whatever, and on a muddy construction site, you don't meet many wokos. You don't meet any wokers. There's a few, not many. But like, you're too busy for all that. Too busy doing something useful. But anyway, so it's not all Starmer's fault, but he's just shooting himself in the foot at every corner he turns now, and I don't think he's going to be lasting too much longer. I really don't. I don't. I think he'll get a vote of no confidence or whatever they do, something like that. I think the knives are out, definitely. He's got his own people now. Everyone's exposing him for everything. I think it's even in the mainstream media, although I don't watch it. But anyway, that's the way I see it going in the UK, and I don't think it'll get better because of the population, their attitude, and they're getting the wool pulled now with this climate stuff. It doesn't happen here. Okay, cheers. A bit radical.